Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at SHAEF? That's what I want to call it. This is the liberation of Western Europe from D-Day to the Rhine. This is by Ian Brody, and it's put out by PSC Games. And it's PSC is Plastic Soldier Company. It's which you can't see. Let me show you that PSC right here. It's a UK-based company, and they do a lot of historical model kits like tanks and planes and men, and they do those in a few different scales for games like Flames of War or their own. What's it called? I should know this, but I don't. They have their own battle system with its own set of rules. You can play with 15mm, 28mm. They do things for bolt action, things like that as well, I believe. So they do lots of figurines and miniatures, but recently they've been branching out to more board games or war games in the last few years, which it's exciting for me because they're an extremely good company, excellent customer service, usually make very good products. Like I know them from, I have tons of their Sherman tanks, I have their British paratroops, so I love the products they put out, and this is starting to get into board games, which I think is really neat. It's distributed in the United States by Grigling Games. I don't know if that's the case everywhere else in the world, but we saw those guys at Gen Con. They had this, and Battle of Britain, and the Great War, so they got some really cool games from PSC out, which is exciting. So SHAEF, I don't know if that's what me and Grant call it. I might just be a moron. This is Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force. That's what it means. I'm going to call it SHAEF from now on, so mark me in the comments if you want. This is a pretty hefty size game. It's only a 2-inch box, but it's got some good weight to it. It's a grand tactical game of, like we said, it's basically Race to the Rhine. So you have to do your D-Day landings, landing at Cherbourg, bringing guys into Vichy, and then you've got to pound all the way through France and get to the Rhine, hopefully try and win as the Allies. And the Axis are trying to violently defend and defend and defend, basically. So it is a 2-player game, and I think it's only going to be a 2-player game. I don't know if there's a solo mod, but that might be quite difficult because this is a kind of a card-driven based game. What we'll do is we'll kind of crack it open and get it going. They say, the box says this is kind of like a 2 or 3 hour game, and looking through it, I would not be surprised if that was the case. So there's a play card. Is there only one of these? Oh, that might be real. So there's a play card here. Fire modifiers table, operations, point costs, combat resolution overview, so all the steps of doing combat, and then a large sequence of play. So you have to share that with your buddy though, because I think that might be the only one there. Rulebook. It's actually kind of a small size rulebook, but it's nice and thick. It's actually got 40 pages, but rules-wise, this is probably a 30-page normal-size rulebook. A lot of good text in here, so there's going to be some decent reading, but it's not necessarily dense. It's broken up into lots of, 7.2 ABCD. This is very manageable. Lots of crunchy bits and pieces. Not a lot of diagrams. There are some card play. Might want a little bit more. Oh no, there's good diagrams in the back. Oh, I'm fine with it. And this looks like it's all. Ooh, is this all a big? Oh yeah. So this in the back. Oh, this is gonna be fantastic to learn the game. This is historical scenario example first turn. So really, you've only got like 25 pages of rules. That's not very intimidating at all. And this is gonna help me learn the game and set it up and play it. So that's exciting. I like that. Feel a lot better about that. Okay. So these are really interesting displays, and these are not the same. So this is the Allied display here, and what you have is you have all these different kind of leaders and army groups. So you've got British Second Army, Canadian First Army, 1st US Army, 3rd US Army, 9th US Army, 15th US, 17th US, and then you've got the Free French Army here as well. And you've got all these leaders that you can see, right? And what you're going to do is, through card play, you're going to put cards under these guys' command. You've got a place for your reinforcement deck, discard pile, discarded units, reinforcements, all that kind of stuff. So you have these basic leaders, and then you kind of start here, and it tells you this starts in Sile, Normandy, this starts in Britain, this is also Sile, Normandy, let's get that out of the glare here, and then these ones, this is July 44, September 44, June 45, and then you've got Africa, and you've got French North Africa as well. That's where these guys start. So you have to land these guys in southern France. These guys are going to come in at later dates, and these guys are going to start northern France coming over for D-Day. So really interesting how they set these up, and you're going to assign different divisions and bits and pieces to these guys. Or brigade, I don't know what the scale is. Probably very, very large. And you have the same thing for the German defensive forces as well. Tells you where to set them up and where they're going to start. And it's stacking guys. And if you look here, so you get the cool historical pictures, which 10 out of 10, I always like those. But these always have like cards assigned to any unit in this army with Fallschirmjäger division in the designation Fire +1. This is the first Fallschirmjäger army. So if you put cards that are Fallschirmjägers in this, which are paratroops by the way, they get a bonus from this. So you're trying to pull cards, get them into the right armies so that they can fight at their most optimum value. And so you get this really unique shuffling around and moving around of assets and units, which I think is a pretty cool aspect to a game. I really like it when games do that. I've played a couple where you had that kind of thing. I think, what company was it? Simulations, what was it? There's a company that does that. What is it? I'm going to kill myself. They did the Battle of Midway and Stalingrad, and both of those games you had a similar type of thing, where you'd have like, this is this army, here's what's in it. And in Stalingrad, that was hidden from the opponent. So they'd go and attack this army on the board, and they'd have no idea what it was. And so you'd be like, okay, here's what's there. This one, you can see everything, but I like the idea of you've got this counter on the board, and here's what's there. And moving those resources around, I think is really neat. So here you've got the board. I can't really get a lot of it in this camera. Let's see if we can't move it in and get it in there a bit. So you got turn track down here. Nice and boring. We don't need to see that little terrain effects chart down there. Oh, yeah, up here. Okay. So you got the whole of France. And you can see you've got units that are going to come from Africa, from North Africa, and they're going to land in the south in Vichy, France. And you've got D-Day is going to happen up here. You can bring guys across to Amsterdam if you so chose. It's all in places where you can land. You can do that. And then it's a case of march across, get everyone over to the Rhine. Can you get over to the Rhine? You've got these big stars here, and those are victory spaces. So you're trying to get your guys at the other side of the Rhine, keep them in supply. Very functional board. Everything is bold, everything is clear. So I like it in the sense that this is an extremely pragmatic board. Do I care that it's not the prettiest board in the whole world? No, I don't. And why I don't care is because the card play, and this is a card-driven game, the cards are so cool. They all have the historical photos on them, and if you want me to like a game, just include millions of historical pictures, because that to me brings out the realism and the history of it. I don't need some old-timey looking map. Give me the Tiger tanks, give me the Panzer IVs, just this stuff is so good. Brings the visceral side to the war, really brings it alive. You can see the people behind some of these, and that's just the Germans. Those are the bad guys. For the Allied cards, and this is just a tiny fraction of the cards. These stacks are huge of how you set those up and get them done. These are just so cool looking. What Corsair? But these are beautiful cards, beautiful, beautiful cards. And like I said, what you're going to do is with these sheets here, you're going to play them in this kind of stack here. So just June 44, and you're going to get cards along here, and they kind of join forces, And what that looks like is that when it comes down to it, you've got your HQs, which are on little standees, right? Those are going to be moving around the board. But the major players and units are these tokens. So you're going to push these tokens around. And so like this guy is part of the 15th Army, for example. US 15th Army, if we can get him in focus, there he is. And these all correspond, all the various different corps, to what you've got here. So what you've got here, that's what you're going to be moving around on the board. And it's just a fascinating reduction of all these, these stacks. Here's kind of your special abilities and what you can put on the board with these armies and HQs, moving these around. I feel like, and how this looks on the board when it's all set up is so cool. I'm looking at pictures online and I want to get this played because this looks like you are Supreme High Command, and it looks and feels like you are just, you're just at this scale where it's like, I push these guys forward, almost like it's like Rome, and it's Caesar and he's planning his battle maps, and he's like pushing the pieces around, preparing for war, and he's like, ooh, what if I do this and this and this? That's kind of what this game feels like at times. You are High Command. It's just an entire region. You're like, yeah, we'll do an attack here, get the Germans out, and then we move around. I like a game that makes me feel like I am a commander, and this looks like this is going to do that, and I think that's really neat. The game is played with D10s, and they provide 4 of those for you. And then there's a ton of these extra counters. And kind of in keeping with the board, these are really bold counters, and I think that's so cool. This is a board game, and the pieces need to be vibrant and stand out from a lot of the green and brown on the board, and they do. It's almost looks like it would be like too much, a little bit corny, but I love the aesthetic of this, where it's just like, this is a bold, strategic war game. And this, I don't know, it looks like and feels that way. Just to give you an idea of the cards, by the way, this is the stack of Axis cards. If you want to sleeve these, go for it. Oh, we might have some allied ones in there as well. How about that? And the allies have that many as well. It's just an ungodly amount of cards. Now, obviously, they don't all come out at the same time. These are done through dates, but a ton of card play. I think this probably will be a 3-hour game. It might be longer than that, depending. But what's nice is I believe, let's just open this up. Maybe not. I want to say there was scenarios, but that might not be the case. Man, I thought there were scenarios, but I don't think there are. I think you just play straight up, start to finish. Clean out, social. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Alright. Looks like start to finish, you've got yourself a hardcore war game, and you're going to play the whole thing in a city. So, there's a lot of game here. I'm not going to pretend to know the rules here. I'm going to sit down and read and learn these. But from what I've watched of people online, and this looks like it's going to be fun in that huge level, ultimate, I'm in charge of everything, pushing the guys around on the board. I think this is going to be a good one. Some unique card play and some unique army construction, which I think is very cool. And this one's one I'm excited to play with Grant, and you'll see a review of this one coming very soon. So, appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to me ramble. This has been Supreme High Command, Allied Expeditionary Force from PSC Games.